Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question.
Hey, Rebecca, Vicky, and Jules. This is an RLT therapist who loves your podcast and who will choose to remain anonymous for this question. The last several days, I've been stuck in what Terry Real calls normal marital hatred. So my question for you guys today is, why does my partner suck?
I hate this question.
Why?
I hate this question. Because if your partner sucks, you need to break up with them. Why do you suck at boundaries? I don't want to be with a partner that sucks.
Oh my God. What about normal marital hatred?
Okay. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. And so when you put it in that context, it all makes sense. That was a huge light bulb because my partner sucks sometimes too. So, okay, there's
But you won't leave him. Okay, I'm with you.
I won't leave him, right?
I'm with you 100% that if your partner actually sucks, you could go, and that would be a great solution. Totally with you. And in any long-term relationship,
You're going to have moments.
Yeah.
sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months.
I mean, I don't really want to admit it, but I'm gonna. There have been times where I have walked out of a room that my husband's in and just started it just comes through me and it's just
Totally.
and, it's just there. And I'm sure he has it too towards me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of inside, we're in a pretty regular space.
Yeah.
Around, oh my God, how in the hell did I choose this person?
Yeah.
I've been duped. They suck after all.
Well, and so it depends on what I want to make sure I get the right word, stages versus phases.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what phase you're in. This is my theory, because so I'm going to do this fast for our listeners who don't know. The first phase is love without knowledge. Everything is perfect. They can do no wrong. Drug-induced haze.
It's the honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase.
Mm-hmm.
And the second phase is knowledge without love.
Disillusionment.
Yeah. And some relationships don't make it through this phase. So there's
some relationships stay in that phase for
Right.
years and years and years, but don't actually break up.
And then the final phase is love with knowledge, knowing love. It depends on what we call
Mature love.
Mature love.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for me, I would wonder, well, I've been duped. That could happen in either of those, right? I think the I've been duped is knowledge without love. It hits you.
It is.
My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
that knowledge without love.
What am I dealing with?
And these could actually happen in very short moments. So you could go through all three phases in the course of a single dinner, or we could talk about them over years. So the honeymoon phase is often early in the relationship. And then there's this middle period that
Damn, I thought I had achieved the mature place. I thought I was just there and it wasn't ever going to change.
Totally.
Damn.
And you know what? I think it's important to talk about why the disillusionment happens for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the be all end all why. I often talk like I'm talking about a be all end all, but I almost never mean that because I hold both and all the time. But there's a thing a lot of us do where we imagine that this partner, I'm going to be able to hand my young, tender, vulnerable parts to them, and they will be the perfect caregiver for those parts. That's my imagining.
Yeah.
And I may imagine that
Mhm.
consciously, but more likely, I actually do it subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
So I go out there looking for somebody, lovely.
Who can take care of all my brokenness.
Who can take care of all my brokenness, can finally like fill in the missing piece, maybe is how it feels. And I think we're sold a bill of goods, and at least here in the States around this, because we're told if you don't find like you complete me energy, then that means you didn't find the right one yet.
Right. Yes. So with that first fight, you would need to break up because obviously that's not the quote unquote right person for you.
Right. Or because they keep disappointing me, or because they suck. Right.
And sometimes they suck because they suck. Because the thing about,
human.
I mean, yeah, like they're freaking human, and they just have these moments where, like, God, that was a stupid thing for them to do or think or say.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Totally.
So it wasn't the way that I would do it.
Totally.
Well, everything I do is right. So he sucks if he doesn't do it my way.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
so you know.
Totally.
So what we're saying here is partners suck for two reasons. One, because we handed them our inner babies, didn't tell them, they dropped them, and they suck because they didn't save us. Okay. So, and they didn't fix all our brokenness, and they don't actually feel like they complete us. Okay. So there's one reason they suck. And then another reason they suck is because sometimes they just suck because people suck sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and
but like in a normal way.
Right. And if I do the U-turn on that, my partner sucks when they're not me. And
doing
my
everything.
Rightness isn't, like the fact that I'm so right, like I'm getting stuck in that losing strategy or trying to control something or going after like a certain way that I need them to be. And they're not doing that. And so they suck.
Totally.
And now I hate you both.
Okay. We'll still love you.
Because I kind of like this whole topic now. And I hated it at the beginning.
Well,
It makes sense.
You did a U-turn there. Right? And so
I totally did. Yeah.
Totally. So why would I get stuck in thinking my partner sucks and kind of cycle there for a few days or even longer? Why is it that this happens? And I have really bad news about why this happens, because my answer sucks. Speaking of sex, the reason we do this most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, the reason we cycle on that one is because we don't want to feel the grief of the truth that my partner is human, is going to disappoint me, is going to not do things the way I would do them, is going to not take care of all my wounds, is not actually going to complete or heal everything.
You know what's interesting to me, Jules, when you're saying that is that my partner's a he can suck in my unhealthy brain where I'm going to dig in and, like Rebecca was saying, get mad and want to control him and change him. Or he can still suck when I'm in my healthy brain and I can accept it with like the energy that you just spoke with. Like I could hear it in you that you were talking from your healthy brain, and he's going to suck from either place. It's how am I dealing with his suckage?
Right. Because in the more integrated brain state, that wise adult state, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to send love to our own grief.
Yeah.
About it not being as perfect as I'd hoped. And we're going to send love to our partner and remember, like in that healthy brain state, you can remember that you suck to them too. You didn't heal their wounded child either, by the way.
Right. So much easier for me to accept the ways I suck than the ways he does. Actually, usually I say the opposite. So it's funny I just said that because usually I'm like, I'd rather accept your suckage than accept that I have it. But I know the ways I disappoint him. I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suck too. Just depends on what state of your brain you're in.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Can you deal with it or not?
And this is the movement from that subcortically led brain state, from that adaptive child that we often will talk about, that adaptive kiddo who learned to protect you by blaming other people, maybe. In this instance, that's what the kiddo's doing. You suck is about me blaming you. Right?
I think this is really easy to see in siblings, by the way. And I think it's part of what we notice in couples sometimes too, because there's a little bit of that same dynamic, right? In siblings, it's so easy to see, I hate you because you challenge me. I hate you because you do things differently than me. I hate you because you're not me, or because you think your own thoughts. And then we can see that in siblings, and it's a little bit more comfortable in siblings to kind of name that. And then in marriage, somehow that feels like that normal marital hatred feels like, so it's uncomfortable to sit with. Like, it is just normal when you're with someone for all this time and you're clashing up against each other because you are two different humans.
Well, and I saw Cinderella when I was 3 or 4, and I was told that marriage is supposed to be blissful all the time. And also, in the moments of discord, we're supposed to use those to grow closer together every single time we have them. And they're supposed to be rich and amazing. That's the nuance that we've added, is that all the discord is supposed to be always glorious in the end of it, none of which is true.
And if we talk about Cinderella, can we also talk about her sisters?
Totally.
Like that, there's that hatred, right? Like you can see it right there. So we can talk about it in some aspects of our humanity, but we can't hold it in others.
Because romantic love is different, we think.
I think that's the story.
Hollywood told us.
I think that's the story.
What I mean.
That's what we've been sold.
I think that's the story we've been telling. And that's, so I think what we're talking about when we're talking about getting out of the marriage suckage place is enough acceptance of yourself and enough acceptance of your partner and enough acceptance of letting go and grief around all the stories you've been told or all the hopes you might have had that it looked different than it does. And that's going to help you move from that phase of knowledge without love into knowledge with love, mature love, wise integrated brain love, which is, I can hold you as equal to me with all of your imperfections and hold me in warm regard with all of mine. And know
even when you suck.
Even when you suck. And I want to give a shout out to my husband for dealing with me, even though I suck.
I know I should, and I don't want to give a shout out to my husband for dealing with me when I suck. But Jules made it sound so sweet that I feel like that's what we're all supposed to do. And I'm not in my healthy brain right now to do that.
It happens all the time. Happens all the time. All the different brain states are welcome here.
Right.
And I just want to kind of say that I'm really proud of my husband and of me for working through the suckage together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's to more suckage to come. Embracing the suck is part of the deal.
Yeah.
And hope you guys have a good week.
Bye-bye.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our bootcamp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.